Hello traders, today is Sunday, September 29th, 2024. I'm going to go over 13 different names today. As per usual, keep in mind this is not financial advice. This content is for entertainment or educational purposes only. If you are thinking about risking any of your capital or money into any type of investment, I strongly suggest you do your own due diligence and research before you risk any of your capital. Let's start now with AFRM. And I've been talking about this name for a while, especially right after earnings, which is right here. I did take some puts right in this area. What I was saying is, and this gap that we had right on this area was going to start filling, and it happened right into the middle of the gap. We did hit support at 35.6, give or take, and then we actually had a nice reversal and went up towards almost 48. Now we're going back again, and what I was saying in prior videos was that we might see a pullback towards 40 to 50, and the optimal situation would have been to range in this area, but we actually broke down under 250, and I think now we are well on our way towards 40 or right under 40. One of the things that was part of my thesis was, and we were a little bit overextended here. We were overbought for a while, and there was no I guess cooling down at all in this area right here. So it was easy to predict, I guess, a pullback. I guess a part that is more difficult to predict is like how deep the pullback is going to be. Now we can argue that we're going to go to 40 and rebound. We'll see if that happens. I do believe that we can easily go to the 200 SMA, which is in the area of 35. And maybe at that point, we might see a move back towards 39, 40 to 50, 45, and so on and so forth. We'll see if that happens. If you break under the 200 SMA, then you're going to fill this gap, and then you can reassess and see. At that point, all of these indicators are going to be either by the zero line or actually most likely under their zero lines. The RSI is already pretty much neutral, but TSI and MACD are already cooling down, but they are still extended. I did take I did buy some puts, I think, in one of these two candles, and I did sell them before the end of trading day on Friday. And the reason for that is because I normally like to I don't like to keep my positions or my swings for longer than a few days. So that's that. Let's move on to the next name. And I was looking at Ally, and seems like Ally is let me take a note, moving into filling this gap. There is very low liquidity here, as you can see, and this move looks pretty consistent. I like the fact that the MACD and the signal line have a very decent divergence. You have the same thing going on the TSI, and the RSI is not moving up too aggressively. I like those characteristics. I would wait a little bit. This is definitely on my short list. I like the setup so far. I would like to see a little bit more volume coming in. But other than that, I do believe that if we get a little bit deeper into this low liquidity area, we are definitely going to move into filling this gap partially or completely. I really don't know that part, but we're well on our way towards 38. If we actually find a little more volume, we might see a little bit of resistance right on this area right here, which is 36 point, let's say it's 36. But other than that, I think that if this trend continues, we're going to fill the gap and move towards 38. Let's move on now to Amazon. And I like, well, let me take that back. We broke under support at 190. You can see that these indicators are also cooling down. RSI is already pointing down. I'm not sure exactly why we're losing momentum. My suspicion is because of the ports strike. That could be it. It would be a major problem for Amazon logistics. But other than that, I honestly, other than looking at the chart, I don't have much more information. But it looks like seller's momentum is coming in. There's a little more volume on the seller side. MACD is already going down, and it wasn't even too extended or anything. It has the same characteristic as what you have seen here at 200. They're actually at the same level. So now this is going down, and I wouldn't be surprised, and we're going down towards 180. We'll see what happens. There is decent volume in this area, or liquidity. But what I think is that it's very possible we're going to go down towards 180. And even at that level, or even if you go down to 175, that would be a gift. That would be a complete gift. But anything under 180 for Amazon would be absolutely cheap, in my opinion, and a great opportunity to go to get some positions, I guess, or get some calls to the next move up. But for now, I don't think we're going to reverse in the next 2 or 3 trading sessions. We're probably going to hit 181. Hopefully I'm wrong. I'd rather trend. I'd rather trade on to the upside. But in this case, I do believe that we're losing momentum, and the indicators are also showing you that the strength of the stock is going towards the sell side rather than the buy side. That's what I have for Amazon. And now let's do, if I can find this guy, it's right here, ANF. So one thing that I find interesting about ANF is how it's been bouncing on the 200 SMA, which is this line right here. I like the fact that it's respecting it for so many days. And now you also see the MACD and the TSI starting to slowly move upwards towards their zero lines. That RSI is already pointing up, and you are actually over this resistance level at 140. I believe if you go over that 35 SMA, you can definitely start filling this gap. Liquidity here is not bad for buyers. So I do believe that there is a good opportunity here. This is another name that is in my short list. That trend, in my opinion, well, if you see it from here to here, you can argue the trend is down. But if you actually zoom out, the trend continues to go up. Let's take a look at the weekly. And, if you actually see the weekly, it doesn't look that promising if you're basing some trades on strength and moving averages. But I also like this candle. So I think it's maybe a game of waiting for 1 or 2 more days of trading and see what happens here, if it catches momentum and then things change. But this is still on my short list for trading. So ANF, keep it in mind, put it on your watch list if you want. It actually closed on Friday at almost 5%. That's a pretty nice candle. That's a pretty nice move. And again, this is an interesting setup right now. It's not fully formed, but I think it's getting there. Let's see what happens on the 35 SMA area right here. So let's move on now to another name that people seem to like, and I'm very intrigued with ASTS. And on Friday, you had a pretty nice move up, 6.25% to the upside. I did make a post on X. By the way, you should follow that account. I do post a lot of charts. It's basically just charts with some concepts on them. But anyways, what I was saying is, or asking is, are we hitting support at this point? And it's pretty obvious. It looks like we are. I like the fact that you are now between the support level at 21.3 and the RSI at the 35 SMA. I do believe that if we mount this tomorrow, we're probably going to move comfortably over the 27.8 resistance level. We'll see what happens. MACD and TSI is still not catching any momentum to the upside, but volume is coming in. I actually like what I'm seeing here. ASTS was a very nice mover back in mid-August, towards the end of August. It broke this level right here, which was resistance at the time. Now we support. You had this very nice move. And, you know, I'm going to tell you one thing about ASTS. I like what they do. I think if they get to figure out what they want to do with mobile signals and basically turn every... what they're trying to do is have direct communications between mobile devices, basically your phone, and satellites. So that will make very easy for anybody to have connection anywhere in the world. This company is based on Texas, as far as I know, and they are doing pretty interesting things. I think they are partnering with SpaceX to launch their satellites and the hardware that they have to send to space in order to pull this off. They have partnerships with AT&T, Verizon, and I'm not sure if they have partnerships with T-Mobile, but anyways, they do have something going on. So I think it's worth keeping an eye on this name. I think if any good news come for ASTS, I think we're gonna rip just like we did back in August. So keep an eye on this name. For now, I would be worried about the 35 SMA and this resistance level at 27.8. Next, I have Bitcoin, which I haven't. We're still at the 65 level on Bitcoin. Let me take a note really quick right here. Well, what I was saying last week was we have to break over the 200 SMA. That looks good. We actually on Thursday broke over that level. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we are here. I do believe that we, if we catch a little more momentum, which we did last week, towards the end of the week, you're going to break 67, no problem. A continuation on this move is going to have implications for other stocks like Coin, Mara, Riot, and then some other names that CLSK, Iron, all of those names that are going to be, I think, Course as well, are going to have a little pump if we actually start, you know, there's a continuation on this move. And it looks like there is little liquidity in this area, but you really want to break the 67.3 level. That's what I have for Bitcoin. And now let's move on to this name that it was down. Well, let's talk about CAVA. And I've been talking about CAVA for a while. One of the things that worried me about CAVA right on this area right here, and I was arguing, are we seeing a double top? Well, we didn't. It went a little bit higher, but this could still consider a double top. Again, my thing with CAVA was the valuation. I think the ratio between the PE ratio is 300x, which is crazy. And then you also have, on the technical level, you have this flat, I guess, behavior on the MACD and the TSI. Normally, when this happens, either under the zero line or over the zero line, you're probably going to have a reaction to the opposite, meaning it's going to go down in this case. On Friday, we went under support, which is I have my support at 126, a negative day of minus 2.64. I do think that we might be seeing a reversal here towards, well, my next level is 110. And if you break 110, you're going to fill this gap and probably encounter the 35 SMA, and that would probably be your support level at that point. There's no liquidity under 110, or very little liquidity. So keep an eye on this. It's a risky name to short, in my opinion, or to buy puts. And the reason is because it's still very volatile and it could get momentum at any point. If you actually, for example, thought this is a double bottom, and then, you know, this stock is overpriced and blah, 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 and you took a position in this candle, then you got wrecked on the next 5 or 6 trading days. So be careful here. However, there is probably opportunity here to the downside, as long as you are careful and as long as you are really staring at the screen while you're trading this. So I personally, if I took any put options on this, they would be overnight, just to be conservative. And again, because of the volatility that comes with this name, and the fact that a lot of retail investors or whatnot keep talking about this in a pretty high level. So anyways, that's what I have for CAVA. In my opinion, I think this is going down to 110. We'll see what happens. If there is opportunity, just be very cautious and keep a close eye on your positions if you take any. That's what I have for CAVA. Unless, since I spoke about Bitcoin, no, I'm sorry, yeah, Bitcoin. Let's talk about Coinbase. And let me take a note right here very quick. So Coinbase is moving. Bitcoin is moving. Coinbase is going to move. I like a little bit of what we're seeing here. You had this bear flag right here. You went down. You technically have another bear flag here, but you're also now breaking on this trend line. You're breaking on this trend line, and now you're sitting right under the 35 SMA. I think if you mount the 35 SMA, and at that point you're going to be right on the 200 SMA, you might have an opportunity to hit resistance at 208. However, I think that this won't be validated is if Bitcoin has a choppy start of the week. So if we see red, let's say if Bitcoin is under 65, you're probably going to have a little bit of a pullback in Coinbase. I'm going to be honest. I like to trade these names like Coin, Mara, and whatnot when I see actual momentum on Bitcoin, as what you saw last week towards the end of the week. And you can see, that the results here. On Thursday, you were up 7.6%. That's pretty nice. And then on Friday, you had 6.28%. So let's say give or take a 14% move right here between 2 days, which is, very nice. So, that also tells you that you kind of have to trade these names, at least I do, knowing the implications that come with crypto or Bitcoin in this case. So yeah, keep that in mind. You are right under the 35 SMA. You want to mount that. You are right under the 200 SMA as well. You want to mount that. Volume is coming. MACD, TSI are looking pretty decent. RSI is not overbought or anything, as you can tell. I just think that you have to trade this in combination of price action from Bitcoin. That's what I have for Coinbase. And next, let's move on to, let's see if I can find this, CrowdStrike. And I like, okay, there's a couple of things that I like about this. Basically, let's go to the weekly. If I see something here. Yeah, it doesn't look bad. Yeah, you have a Harami candle here. Well, you're flagging right here. You're right under the 200 SMA. You're right on top of support at 200 at 280. I like that. MACD and TSI are not overextended at all. They are not moving with a lot of momentum for now. And then you have RSI, which in my opinion at this point is very neutral. I do believe that if we catch some momentum next week and we bounce or we keep testing this level at 280 and then continue moving towards the 200 SMA, this is going to be an interesting play. Let's actually, you have a little gap right here. And that was from, no, that wasn't from earnings. So you have this gap right here. And I think if you break that 200 SMA, there's low liquidity in this area, as you can tell. So you can probably move towards easily towards in the 300s. We'll see. There's definitely opportunity here. I would buy probably calls for January or something like that to give it some time. Let's take a look if there is any news here. An executive from CrowdStrike Holdings was questions. Well, that's not good about global technology outage. Yeah. Well, those news are going to continue. I think Delta is moving forward with a lawsuit against Microsoft and CrowdStrike. So we'll see what comes out of that. So keep those news in mind. And then I do believe we might have, if nothing really happens out of those news, we might have a nice move to the upside. This name is interesting. I like how it's flagging. So we might get something, next week. That's what I have for CrowdStrike. And let's move on to another name that I've been, if I can find it, I've been talking about quite often, and that is Google. And I like the fact that it's in this range. You can maybe argue that you're flagging, but I wouldn't consider that right now. But you're right on top. If you're closing up here, support at 164, and you're also right on top that 35 SMA. You actually have to mount these levels to have a continuation towards 170. I've been trading, scalping, or I should say day trading and swing trading, like overnight swings, since this area right here. Once I saw green, I was like, well, this is gonna move. I really was praying to go down under 142, which was a lot to ask in my opinion, or hit 142. But once I saw this candle right here that had a little bit of buyers coming in based upon the shape of the candle, I was like, well, there is opportunity here. I'm gonna jump in. So I did take some trading in this area, basically from September 11 all the way up to September 18th. So 7 trading days. I left it alone. I haven't really do anything with Google for the past week, I believe. But I do believe that there is, if we see green coming in pre-market and there is some sort of momentum on Monday, I will probably get on this for the next move. I like Google right now. You can see the MACD and the DSI is still pretty decent. They're right on the 0 line. RSI is not looking bad at all. So I wouldn't be surprised and we're going to hit 170. I just want to see a better bounce on the support level right here, or a continuation again, pre-market, see something solid there, and then I can put maybe some November or December calls and then play this name. That's what I have for Google. Next, let's talk about, since I was talking about CrowdStrike, let's talk about, where are you? Microsoft. So it's looking weak, honestly. But we can also say, and this happens often, you can say that, well, the MACD and the TSI are losing strength, and the lines are crossing the signal lines. You can argue that. Yeah, I give you that. But we are not that extended. So don't be surprised, and this is a flag, and then this is going to continue back up. I actually like, into the weakness that we are, I like this formation for now. You had this flag right here as well, and then you continue going up. I don't know if we should call this a flag anyways. But I like what we're seeing here, this back and forward. And unfortunately, we are under support at 431. I do believe that we might actually run towards a 35 SMA and then maybe rebound on that area. But for now, I'll just keep an eye on Microsoft. I really like when Microsoft wakes up, I really like how it moves. And there's potential to make pretty decent money with Microsoft. And most of the times, if you zoom out, you can see how consistent their moves are. And I like that, either if it's to the upside or the downside. You had a consolidation here back in March, and then you went down, you retest, down again, you got to this level at 390, and then you just went up, retest, went up. So the behavior was pretty similar to the opposite side. I like that. I like how this name moves. I trade it when I see good setups. I did call Microsoft down here, and it was a perfect call. I was in it for a little bit. I think Netflix and Meta were having the same behavior back in May. So we'll see what we get here. I do believe that if there is solid news or anything in the market that give us some hope of the economy improving, we're going to see a move, a nice move, at least towards 443. However, you know, since I'm mentioning that, I do believe that we might see some choppiness towards election. Historically, October, when it's an election day, election year, is very bearish. But we'll see. I wouldn't be surprised, and the current administration pumps things up to make everything look great, and with that, the market goes up as well. So I don't know. We'll see. That's pure speculation. So that's what I have for Microsoft. Keep an eye on the 35 SMA. Keep an eye on this, what is support right now, level at 431. That's all I have for Microsoft. I still like it. We can be flagging right here. Just keep that in mind. Let's move on to where is this name that I was? It's not Roblox. All right, let's do Rocket Lab. I had a little bit of a technical difficulty, but anyways, in my opinion, I don't care what you think. Honestly, in my opinion, this looks overextended. I mean, it does. Let's take a look at maybe the weekly and see if it's a very nice move, though. It's a very nice move, but it looks pretty overextended. I'm not gonna lie. I do believe that obviously, if you want to go long, in my opinion, you're a little bit too late. This might actually continue moving up in the next few trading sessions. Who knows? But I do believe that there is an opportunity here to go short. Now, exactly when, that is the risky part. That is where I would caution. I guess, tell you to be cautious, because definitely on Friday, for example, we had a 12% day, and then on Thursday you went down, you were flat, and then Wednesday you were up 13%. I mean, look at those moves. So there's definitely, the momentum continues, the volume continues here. So I would give it a couple of days or so and see what happens. If you lose the move to the downside, then you lose it. I mean, is at the end of the day, it's a risky proposition. But I think if you start, let's see if there's no levels here at all. Yeah. What do you have here? Nothing really. Yeah, it's a risky trade to the downside. But again, I do believe that once this loses momentum, you're going to go down towards, at least, let's put a level right here. Since I don't have any. You're probably going to go down towards 7.2 or 7.3. We'll see. But in my opinion, let's take a look at the news, because I have no idea what's going on here. Shares increased by 12% following key banks revision. Yeah. I'm not too worried about that. I think that definitely is a risky, I guess, idea, but I would give it a couple of days and see if there is opportunity next week. Again, in my opinion, this looks very overextended, but that being said, there still has a little more room. There's nothing, these indicators are not cooling down at all. The volume is not going down at all. And for those reasons, you have to be careful. The more this extends, the better, I guess, the opportunity to the downside. Now, if you start seeing these kind of candles right here on the top, like this, then you're going to see a cool down, just like what you saw here, right? And then this actually is going to have an opportunity, kind of like flagging, and then it's going to have another opportunity to continue going up, because these indicators and everything else is cooling down, volume is not too crazy, and then there is going to be another opportunity to the upside. We'll see, that could also happen. And that's why I'm saying you have to give it a little bit of time. Okay, that's what I have for Rocket Lab, and let's finish this video. I'm not going to talk about Tesla today, even though Tesla had a fantastic end of week. It's been having a fantastic month, but let's talk about Workday. And what is interesting about Workday is that I mentioned Workday right after earnings, somewhere in this area, I believe, the beginning of the month. And what I was saying is that if you take a look at the chart, you have this magnet here. So you have these two gaps from two different earnings. This one was to the downside, and then you actually came back very nicely. And then if you keep a close eye here, you got rejected 2 times right on this area at where the gap is, and that is 237. And then you had, I guess, decent earnings. I have no idea what happened. I know it was earnings, but I don't know the report. I didn't see it. I don't care. And you went up a pretty nice amount. I think it was like 12% or something like that. And so when I saw that, I was like, well, you have basically no liquidity on this area. This is going to come down. And it did. I didn't take any positions because I think at the time I was playing Cisco and some other names. I'm not sure. I also was in Shopify to the upside, something like that. Anyways, I think this is going down. It's going to meet the 35 SMA, and then you can reassess this position at 238, 237. But yeah, this actually played out the way I was thinking. And the reason was basically because you had this massive gap in liquidity here. And what do you think is going to happen? Once you broke that 200 SMA, it was easy money. So unfortunately, I wasn't in any position. I didn't have a positions here, but that doesn't mean that I was closely looking at what was going on Workday. Anyway, all right, traders, it's Sunday. I gotta go. And thank you so much. Like and subscribe. I would appreciate that. Thank you. Bye-bye.